Hey, hey, hey. Happy Wednesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, incredibly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief, otherwise known as the Grand Poobah of the Gaming Gang. Welcome aboard. Tonight is Wednesday, August 24th, 2022. This is live stream 821. It's your first time joining me, let me point out, super casual around here. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. And then normally we will take a first look at a game. Every once in a while I'll do a live review, but for the most part, it's normally a first look. And tonight will be no different because I am going to be wrapping up our Southlands week with a look at City of Cats for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons from Kobold Press. So we're going to dive on into this. This is a city book, and it also includes a trio of adventures. And I have been intrigued by what we've seen so far of Southlands. And of course, I am a big fan of Midgard, which is from Kobold Press as well. So very cool. So we're going to be diving into that in just a little bit. So if you are rather new to the stream, I should mention that we always tackle the tabletop gaming news first. Then we move on to the first look. So if you are watching live and you're tuning in because you want to check out City of Cats, kick back, relax, put your feet up, take it easy on yourself for a change. We'll get there. We'll get the City of Cats. It's coming. But it'll probably be about 35 minutes before we get to that point. So just chill out or, go make a sandwich or crack open an adult beverage, what have you. But if you happen to be watching this 30 minutes or more after the stream ends, well, if you want to jump past that tabletop gaming news, you certainly can. I wouldn't, because there's cool stuff I'm going to talk about. But you're not me. I'm not you. But there are going to be timestamps so that you can jump ahead through the video. Of course, depending on what device you might be watching this on, those timestamps are either going to be in the show notes or they might be right there in the timeline of the video. So there is that for you. Also, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com, the newly redesigned website, I should mention. You're going to find a lot of tabletop gaming news, reviews, and more, whole lot more that you're not going to find here on the YouTube channel. Lastly, this is a live stream, so that means we've got chat available. It's not on screen. So one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. And you do have to be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours before you can take part in chat. Yet another way that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, maybe you've got a question, a comment, by all means, type away, chime in. I will do my best to respond. First out the gate tonight, Coco B is with us, and Flaming Huron, one of our chat moderators. from across the pond over in Australia. Kathy Evans is joining us, as is Testy Trekkie. Nice. So, Flaming Heron says, bring on the cat puns. I hope they are perfect. Oh, you silly, silly person, you. Anyhow, welcome aboard, everybody. So, we're going to have some fun tonight. Marty Cruz is joining us. I believe this is the first time we've had Marty join us in chat, saying they are tuning in from California. Well, your evening's just getting started then. Fantastic. Very nice. Tessie Trekkie's talking about some shipping costs for a Kickstarter, it looks like. Yes. So Tessie Trekkie's going to be without an arm and a leg, I guess, is basically what's going to happen here. All right, we're going to dive on into the news because I've got some cool stuff we are going to talk about tonight. Arriving next week, actually, from Gale Force 9 is Doctor Who Nemesis. Here's the skinny. It's not easy trying to rule space and time, contending with rival Daleks and Cybermen, interfering Time Lords and predatory weeping angels. There are worlds to move, realities to destroy, time wars to win, a Siberium to find, and Gallifrey itself, for that matter, too. Paradoxes and the endless schemes of the Doctor and the Master to unravel. In Doctor Who Nemesis, you play one of the Doctor's many adversaries, seeking to twist space and time to your own ends. Your old nemesis, the Doctor, endlessly seeks to thwart your plans. Worse still, his other adversaries have their own schemes. Whoa, wait a second. What do you mean? His other adversaries? And you've got a picture of the Master from the Jodie Whittaker years. Oh, sexist, sexist, sexist. I'm just kidding. I did find that kind of weird. It's like his other adversaries when the current Doctor is portrayed by a woman. Dunno. Anyway, so these other adversaries, they've got their own schemes. And they don't involve you controlling everything. You must send your minions out to thwart both the Doctor's and your opponent's schemes while bringing your own schemes to fruition. As the Doctor's nemesis, you win by completing one of your nefarious schemes by meeting the win trigger of a scheme card in play. Defeat the Doctor, rule space and time. Thwart enemy plans and take advantage of the Doctor's actions to further your own. Varied abilities themed around your nemesis of choice is part of this game as well. Doctor Who Nemesis is for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 45 to 90 minutes, and will carry an MSRP of $60. I am intrigued. I am interested. Gotta say, I wish there was more out there about this game. These are the only 2 images that are out there that Gale Force 9 has released, and this game is hitting stores next week. I gotta be honest, I have no relationship with Gale Force 9. Unfortunately, years and years ago, in fact, one of the first videos I did was a review of Spartacus, which I liked. I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't think it was as phenomenal as some people at the time were saying it was, but I did give it, a recommendation. I think it was like 8 out of 10 or something like that. And then I never heard from him again. It was like, wow. Okay. I don't know. Now, I know we had somebody talking about Dragonfire being an excellent D&D game, and you may recall I said, oh, yeah, isn't that Catalyst Labs? And it was, I believe, Gale Force 9 who makes it. Or maybe it is. Maybe I said it was Gale Force 9, and it turns out it's Catalyst Labs. Regardless, Gale Force 9 does have some Doctor Who games out there. I know there's one that they do that's got some pretty cool doctor miniatures. And I think they've got, well, I don't know if they have Jodie Whittaker yet. I think they might. But yeah, kind of interesting. It just, for some reason, this doesn't strike me as a $60 game, though. This strikes me more 45, 50-ish. I don't know. Once again, if I saw more images of it, maybe I'd be like, yeah, okay, $60, sure. And of course, it's licensed. I know BBC's got to get their slice. So Christopher Rush is with us, as is 245 Trioxin hanging out with us tonight. Modiphius Entertainment had an announcement today. That's right. They announced a new miniatures game, which is set in the Homeworld universe. And here's the reveal of Homeworld Fleet Command. Today, Modiphius Entertainment, a world-class tabletop publisher and creator, ego much, is taking the wraps off Homeworld Fleet Command, a new tabletop miniatures board game set in Gearbox Entertainment's Homeworld universe. The game puts would-be admirals in charge of Gashan and Taden fleets. I forget how they're pronounced. It's been a long time since I played. Fighting it out in epic 1-to-4 player galactic battles where it's victory or death. Developed in secret by Nick Fallon, Airfix Battles, Kung Fu Panda, and Achtung Cthulhu Skirmish, and Modiphius CCO Chris Birch, the game has been cleared to leave the scaffold. Inspired by the mechanics of the Airfix Battles introductory wargame, Homeworld Fleet Command promises simple, fast gameplay showcasing huge battles between squadrons of fighters, corvettes, frigates, destroyers, and fleet-busting capital ships. This is going to feature a 10-part campaign that's going to take players from the first fighter skirmish, epic battles such as Return to Carrick. See, I remember how to pronounce that one. Supernova Station and Tannhauser Gate. Step-by-step scenarios that make it easy to jump right into the shoes of an admiral and gradually learn the core game mechanics as the size of your fleet increases. It's going to include 101 plastic ships. So you're going to have the big mothership and then 50, I'm guessing. I'm guessing that. Anyway, there will be 101 plastic ships in the base game, including, like I said, the iconic mothership, 48 fighters, 24 corvettes, 24 frigates, 2 carriers, and 2 destroyers, and 1 mothership. Well, we already mentioned the mothership. The expansion, which I do not have any other info about, adds another 100 ships to grow your fleet. Might just be a miniatures expansion. Solo rules also let one player play either side against a determined opponent, or, once again, up to 4 players could actually share a single command against the AI. Multiple copies of the game can even be combined to create epic fleet battles. Homeworld Fleet Command is going to kickstart. Yes, that's right. Is going to kickstart. I know you were sitting there going, oh, hey, where can I pre-order this? No, it's going to kickstart later on this year. That's all I know. All I know. So on one hand, I'm like, sweet, Homeworld. Oh, if you have never played the PC games, you are so missing out. So missing out. I'll never forget. I'm playing the first one. And at the time, the graphics were like, oh my gosh, these are fantastic. And they actually remastered the games not too long ago. And the graphics still look very cool. And the first mission opens up and you basically have to save your race from destruction. It was like, holy shit. I was like, wow, talk about really getting into this. Like, okay, this starting off with a bang. Really, really excellent. So 245 Triaxon points out Homeworld 3 was just announced yesterday at Gamescom. You know, the weird thing though is I had heard, and I do not follow PC game news that much, but I had heard through the grapevine that that was actually planned. So I was kind of surprised by the announcement. I was like, oh, you mean this hasn't been announced already? Oh, okay. But yes, definitely recommend it. Only thing about this that I'm kind of curious about is I did check out the Airfix battles, and it was sort of ho-hum. It was, World War II with little Airfix miniatures. So I'm kind of curious about that. So keep your eyes peeled because the Kickstarter will be coming later on this year. Simeon is with us, as is Kevin R. Smith and Christopher Rush. Hopefully I've said hello to everybody who is hanging out in chat with us tonight. Let's move on to some role-playing game news, because Roll for Combat, who I was just on their show yesterday, is getting ready to wrap up a successful Kickstarter for a trio of releases. That's right, 3. Here's the skinny on the project. Play a monster, befriend a monster, transform into a monster. This Kickstarter has something for everyone to add to their 5e or Pathfinder game. New, strange, and unusual monsters. The ability to play as a monster. Monster training, and even a monster battling card game. We've already funded and unlocked several stretch goals for new elements, expanded races, additional lore, and more. Join in for the big finish, as even more will be unlocked. So here are the 3 main components of the Kickstarter. You've got Battlezoo Ancestries, Year of Monsters, which allows you to play as a monster with a creative monster ancestry each month of 2023, plus a final compilation book as a capstone, which is actually going to include some additional content also. The 12 new races include demons, gremlins, intelligent weapons, dungeons expanded. Yes, you heard me correct. You can play as a dungeon. Oni, nymphs, doppelgangers, minotaurs, slimes, Stenos. I'm not familiar with what those are. Mimics and Sidae. Once again, these are fantasy things. I don't always know how to, pronounce everything. Each race will be roughly 10 or more pages, allowing you to fully explore what it means to play as your favorite monster with multiple sub-race options and customization. And thanks to stretch goals, we've already expanded demons and Oni to double that size. There's new types of doppelgangers and more. Plus, if you pledge now, you're going to be guaranteed the Foundry Virtual Tabletop module with your order absolutely free. This Kickstarter also introduces Battlezoo Eldamon, which allows you to befriend, train, battle, and evolve ancient and playful monsters based on 12 different elemental types. That reminds me of something. I don't know if I can catch them all. Oh, yes. Thank you, Flaming Huron. Pointing out, yes, words are hard. Yes. For me, they can be sometimes. They can truly be difficult for me sometimes, because I'll talk about this after the news, but there's something kind of funny that I will point out. Anyway, these elemental types, such as fire, ice, life, and death, are going to be added into your Pathfinder or 5e game. Battlezoo Eldamon includes 2 new classes: the Eldamon Trainer, which focuses on befriending Eldamon and having them fight your battles for you, and the Elemental Avatar class, which allows you to attune with an Eldamon and utilize their powers in a variety of ways. Appropriate for all ages and playstyles, Battlezoo Eldamon allows players to befriend over 160 unique Eldamon, catalog their unique abilities and their Eldedex, battle other players' Eldamon in playful battles, and even evolve their Eldamon into more powerful forms. You can add them seamlessly in any role-playing game, allowing any character, no matter their class, to interact and collect them without disrupting the established adventure. Battlezoo Eldamon is perfect for monster trainer lovers of all ages. The rules are simple enough to be a great way to introduce children to the role-playing hobby, but also deep enough to offer a variety of combinations for strategic players. Last but not least, there is the Battlezoo Bestiary, Strange and Unusual, which features over 150 award-winning monsters from the 2021 RPG Superstar Contest. You're a superstar. And contains some of the most bizarre monsters ever seen in 5e or Pathfinder. In addition to the monsters, inside this book, you'll find an expansion of the monster parts system from the original Battlezoo Bestiary, with new methods for turning monsters into weapons, armor, and magical gear, plus the Aberrant Soul subclass, in which you slowly transform into an aberration. There is a short Kickstarter video. It's actually kind of humorous. So why don't we kick back and give it a peek?
I found these.
Oh, I see you found the clue.
Don't look, no, but it's on the porch. Well, I'm here, and I don't see anything.
It doesn't say on the porch. It says in the couch.
Definitely says on the porch.
Okay, well, it's not a handwriting contest. Just go in there and look so I could tell you about Battlezoo Eldamon.
Battlezoo Eldamon. Is that what all this is?
Yeah, dude. Battlezoo Eldamon is a series of family-friendly RPG supplements for 5th edition D&D and Pathfinder.
It looks super cool.
It is cool. In Battlezoo Eldamon, you befriend, train, battle, and evolve over 160 original elemental monsters. It's super simple to add into any existing 5e or Pathfinder game without any adjustments by the GM.
Whoa, hold on. You could just use the Eldamon powers?
If you want to, sure. The new Elemental Avatar class allows you to embody the Eldamon and use the powers yourself. Alternatively, the new Eldamon Trainer class lets you befriend and train Eldamon to battle for you.
How have I not heard of this before? They have a bestiary with over 150 award-winning monsters and a new strange and unusual bestiary.
Magic items, new subclasses, new monsters. Oh, speaking of monsters, we didn't even talk about the Year of Monsters.
Go on.
Battlezoo Ancestry's Year of Monsters is a monthly ancestry that will be released every month of 2023. This includes playable ancestries of demons, doppelgangers, dungeons, gremlins, intelligent weapons, oni, mimics, minotaurs, nymphs, she, slimes, and stheno.
Did you say dungeons?
Oh yeah, you can play as a dungeon.
They sure do have a lot of content.
They also have a card game. The Eldamon Battles card game kicks off next year with Season 1 Fire and Ice, which includes 5 decks covering 10 elements and including over 60 playable Eldamon. Discover the world of Battlezoo Eldamon.
You can score the PDFs for all of these releases for a $139 pledge, or you can grab the physical releases in hardcover for a $199 pledge through August 26th. So when I said this is wrapping up, I wasn't kidding. You don't have a whole lot of time to jump aboard. Expected delivery is January of 2023. I am not positive if we are talking about the physical and digital, or if we're only looking at digital. We do have Roll for Combat hanging out in chat. Hi, Stephen. And why don't you ask if anybody's got some questions about this Kickstarter? I think you could get some answers right here, right now. Maybe. So, Roll for Combat points out that's 15 books. Some are, of course, longer than others, but still. So there is a discussion going on about how do you play as a dungeon? So I should mention I was almost in that video, but I don't have a SAG card. So unfortunately, I just couldn't pull that off. Alrighty. On to our next news piece. Humble Bundle currently has a fantastic money-saving offer, which features Pathfinder and main focus is the Strength of Thousands adventure path. Here are the deets on the deal. Embark on a Pathfinder adventure. Gear up your tabletop role-playing party for a journey down the Strength of Thousands adventure path with this Pathfinder 2e bundle from Paizo. Delve deep into the rules of engagement and character creation with the Pathfinder Lost Omens, the Mwangai Expanse, Pathfinder Advanced Player's Guide, and Pathfinder Lost Omens Character Guide. Explore a magic school like no other in the 6-part Strength of Thousands campaign. Discover the Lost Omens, the Mwangai Expanse setting, and get tomes and resources to take on countless adventures to come. Plus, your purchase is going to help support comic books for kids. You can score all 28 PDFs that are available in this offer. And, of course, obviously enough, you get the core book, get some of the core supplements as well. Plus, the main focus is on Strength of Thousands, which, I got to be honest, I did not review, but Sammy reviewed it, and she loved it. So she thought it was fantastic. So, and I trust Sammy. Otherwise, I would not be publishing her reviews on the website. So you can get all 28 PDFs for $25 or more as a donation. And you can do this through September 8th. I say it time and time again. These humble bundles are perfect opportunities to check out the second edition of Pathfinder. If you find 5e is a little too bland, maybe you don't feel that you have enough character creation agency, I always point people over to Pathfinder. I mean, essentially now it's like D&D 3.9 or so. But yeah, this is a phenomenal deal, everybody. So, I mean, and come on, it's for charity too. So, and if I remember correctly, I might be wrong, because it's been a while since I actually got a humble bundle. But I think that you can actually decide how much of your donation, how much of your payment is going to go to the charity, and you can make it like 100% if you want. So I think that is still in place. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure it is. So don't miss out. Final news piece. Games Omnivorous has a new Western role-playing game, which caught my eye. And here's what I've found out about Frontier Scum. Every night and every morn, some to misery are born. Every morn and every night, some are born to sweet delight. Some are born to sweet delight. Some are born to endless night. Yeah, it's William Blake, who actually was excellent as Beretta. It's too bad he got into that trouble later on in life. Oh, wait a second. That's not William Blake. Anyway, Frontier Scum is a rules-light acid Western role-playing game. An auto-destructive, violent, and LSD-infused take on spaghetti Westerns about wanted outlaws making their mark on an unreal, lost frontier. Probably getting shot before having the chance to shoot. A rough-and-tumble world of insatiable greed where scum live one slug from the grave. Inspired by such things as El Topo, Dead Man, and Bone Tomahawk. Inside, you'll find all the rules you need to play, guidelines for creating characters, along with their guns and stolen horses, an introduction to the Lost Frontier, a complete adventure escape the Oregon Rail. You're not going to die from dysentery with that. And tons of inspiration tables and tools for NPCs, hunting, carousing, bounties, odd jobs, loot, and strange relics. The 64-page A5 hardcover is available right now from Exalted Funeral for $26. Or you can grab the PDF over at Drive-Thru RPG for $9.90. Not 99 cents, 90 cents. Yes. Flaming Huron says you can make it 100% to charity, at least for most of their game bundles. Humble has to get a certain amount. Yeah, I get it. All right. So this looks pretty interesting. So Tessie Trekkie's asking, is this Mi'kmaq in the Wild West? It is not from Free League Publishing. This has nothing to do with Mi'kmaq. But it does look pretty cool. And yes, we have various different big releases on the horizon, including Side Big. So that's coming soon. And yes, there is the pirate release Tessie Trekkie's pointing out as well. Simeon says they're looking forward to Haunted West. Yes, I reviewed it. Check it out. And then, of course, I did interview Chris Bivey at Gen Con as well. I had fun with that interview. I enjoyed that interview. In fact, I enjoyed just about every one of my interviews at Gen Con. Okay, that is it for the news tonight. So I was just talking about Drive-Thru RPG. Don't forget, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit Drive-Thru RPG, Storyteller Vault, Dungeon Masters Guild, what have you, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. And that way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. All those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you find thegaminggang.com to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, you can always swing over to paypal.me/thegaminggang and making a small donation. And there are loads of people who use the banner ads and folks who swing by paypal.me, and it is truly, truly appreciated. Thank you very much. If you're not overly familiar with the Gaming Gang, we don't do Kickstarters to stay around. We don't put our hand out every year saying, hey, we need X amount of money to continue to exist. Just taint our style, Dooley. 245 Tracks and asks, has anyone tried the Call of Cthulhu Old West setting, Down Darker Trails? I believe, if I remember right, we have a review of it. I did not review it, but we do have a review of it on thegaminggang.com. I believe. I think it's a review that Sammy did as well. All righty. So there we have the news for tonight. Couple of things I did want to mention before we jump on into our first look at City of Cats. First of all, we're past 7,800 subscribers on the YouTube channel. Very cool. Thank you very much. Looks like we'll probably crack 8,000 by the end of next month. So that's pretty wild. Very happy about that. So that's pretty cool. 245 Triaxis says, wait, there's a website? There are a lot of people who don't realize. They watch these videos. They're like, oh, yeah, you guys got a website? It's like, yes, I mention it every video at least once. So it's like, just goes to show how many people stick around for the end. Not many, unless you're watching live. And I mean, like when I do like my reviews or the standalone videos, people don't hang out at the end. They're like, oh, he's done. He's wrapping up. All right, I'm moving on to something else. But anyway, I want to say thank you so much. it is, I don't know, it's kind of overwhelming, to be honest. I mean, I know I've been doing this a long time. And the funny thing is the website is very popular. Don't get a lot of comments though. I don't know. I don't know if it's just the way we present ourselves. I don't do a whole lot of what do you think kind of stuff, you know? Oh, here's a poll. Vote on this. I don't care what the result is. I'm just giving you a poll. We don't really do that. So anyway, so there is that. Also, um, I'm not going to talk about the particular company, but I have had some people asking, why am I not covering as many board games as I have in the past? And I guess the quick and easy answer is I don't have enough time to get together with people and play them. And it's not necessarily not having the time. I don't have the opportunity. Everybody's schedules are all messed up now. So it's very, very difficult to get a group of people together to play on a fairly regular basis. Every once in a while we luck out and we'll get like a couple of weeks in a row. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is because many, okay, maybe not many, some board game companies have gotten very difficult to deal with. And I am too old and I've been doing this too long to have to deal with that shit. It's just kind of how it is. So I'll give you a great example. Now, keep in mind, I don't pull in anywhere near the traffic of like Dice Tower and stuff like that. But the thing is, especially the website, people don't realize that website pulls in over 1 million unique visitors every year. That is nothing to sneeze at. And that blows away a lot of other websites that you think are more popular than thegaminggang.com, but they actually aren't. So anyway, there's a company that I've covered since the beginning of the Gaming Gang. And I've actually mentioned some issues I've had recently in the past. So I get an email about their latest game that's coming out, which I got to be very honest, I don't think would necessarily be for you guys. It's not a good fit for my audience, right? I don't do kids games. I don't do real light family games because my audience, it's just not their bag of tricks, right? So anyway, so I wasn't even going to request a review copy of it. Now, it used to be this company before they changed PR people, which we've talked about that before, which that's another thing that's just like, you got another new PR person. I got to establish a new relationship with somebody else. And of course, it's like, I don't know who you are. I only know who A, B, and C are. I don't know anybody else. Anyway, so the email states, oh, if you'd like a review copy, fill out this form. And this company used to just send me stuff. Whatever came out, it got sent to me. And it got covered. Now you got to belong on their list and you got to fill out this form. And now it's gotten to the point where you got to fill out the form every time you want to request a review copy of something. Okay. You're making me jump through more hoops, but okay. All right. I get it because there's so many outlets out there covering board games. And the vast majority of them out there, and I'm not talking the big ones, right? I'm not talking Tom and Rado and, Man versus Meeple and stuff like that. But a lot of these people who are relatively new to the scene, a good many of them come with their hand out. To all these publishers, like, give me review copies so I can review your stuff. I don't do that. That's another reason why a lot of these publishers, when they have new PR people take over, don't know me, because I don't come banging on their door asking for review copies and stuff. It's just not my style. So anyway, so this company says, okay, now you got to fill out a form. Okay, fine. So now, not only do you have to fill out the form, but they're going to randomly select who gets review copies. I'm like, you know what, enough. Like, no, I'm done. Because I've had this discussion with their PR person before, and their PR person strikes me as they're just a fanboy that this company just hired, because he's not really very good at his job. So anyway, I'm like, whatever. Over here, it's just randomly my ass. Right. So I'm like, forget it. Oh, and the other thing too, it was like, oh, you have to have reviewed one of our games since July 15th. You have to have a review of one of their games from July 15th of this year till now. So if you didn't request any of their stuff that's come out recently because it's not a fit for your channel or your outlet, your SOL, it's like, whatever. Do I run across that with role-playing game companies? Absolutely not. Role-playing game companies are like super excited to get coverage. They love seeing videos of their stuff. So yeah, I get all these RPG companies or publishers or creators and that emailing me, and some of them I just have to say, no, sorry, I'll do a news piece for you, but it just doesn't look like it'd be a good fit. But they're so much easier to deal with. So it's weird. And that's one of the reasons why I've kind of been segueing away from board games. I still love playing board games. I'll cover board games. If my best friend Elliot Miller would ever get around to actually creating content again, I'm more than happy to have him review stuff. Anyway, so I just wanted to mention that because people have wondered, wow, it's like, I tune in for the show and it's, I used to come by for War Game Wednesday, which we'll have. In fact, we'll have one next week. But they're like, I noticed you're really not covering many board games anymore. I got some reviews coming up. But yeah, and then Gen Con was another experience where it was like, really? The role-playing game folks, for the most part, were fantastic. Board game companies, it was, who are you? I'm the guy you reached out to set up an interview. That's me. Anyway, so there's that. All right. So we're going to be taking a first look at City of Cats from Kobold Press in just a couple of moments. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
This little boy, this little girl, their mother and father too. They all have an urge, and oh, what an urge for something to munch and chew. Choo-choo. Now these are just swell, and this rings the bell. The popcorn is crispy and hot. Then others again have a terrible yen for a drink, then hits the spot. Go, go. So if you want candy, the lobby is handy. A condo with sweets and a crew. With your kind permission, we'll have intermission. We're ready to serve all of you.
What is it?
Say,
What is it?
hey, why it's Buttercup. Popcorn, add sweet cream butter to hot popcorn. Mix it up, wrap it up, Buttercup is born.
It's delicious.
So nutritious.
It's a taste delight.
It's so munchy,
Crisp and crunchy.
you'll enjoy each bite. Eat butter-drenched Buttercup, popcorn at its best.
Served in a king-size cup.
It beats all the rest.
Want some Wilkins coffee before you jump? No! You miss a lot when you don't drink Wilkins.
Ta-da! Quick Wilkins and Wonkins bit here. So I have seen, because Wilkins coffee is no longer around. I was taking a look. I think they went out of business like 1992 or something like that. But there are cans of the coffee, and on the lid, there's a mail-in offer for vinyl Wilkins and Wonkins. I've seen some pictures of them too. No joke. I was like, I'm going to go on eBay. I'll take a look. Just kind of curious. Because I was like, if I could get a nice looking set for, I don't know, $100, I would do it just to have them sitting there behind me, right? No. And the best part was, back in the day, it was $1 for both. And I think you had to send in the label off of the can. Although it looked as if it was like printed on the can. So I don't know. I don't know how you'd scrape that off. John Vogel's with us in chat saying, yeah, Wargame Wednesday's coming back. Wargame Wednesday's around when I've got GMT stuff to share. That is effectively how Wargame Wednesday's probably going to be from here on out. So there is that. So tonight, I am going to be taking a look at City of Cats for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons from Kobold Press. It is written by Richard Pett, Kelly Pollock, and Richard Green. The 154-page hardcover is available right now for $39.99. Or if you want to just grab the PDF, you can head on over to Drive-Thru RPG and get that for $19.99. So swing on over to the other camera, because here I've got City of Cats. For some reason, I see this and I think to myself, oh, yeah, I should put on The Cure. Right? That song, Love Cats. Flaming Heron's going to rock out. Good to see you, Flaming Heron. We will see you next week. That's right. We don't have a chat moderator now that Flaming Heron's gone, because our other 3 chat moderators, well, I knew Madman wasn't going to be here. And Sarah. Oh, there you go. Sarah's here. There you go. She's just lurking. All right. So we do actually have one. I was going to say, or Mr. Eddie T. So those are our other 2. So we got Sarah. She's handling the banhammer. Sweet. All right. So let's take a look at the back here. Who do you trust in the City of Cats? Welcome to the City of Cats, where some very ambitious people have their paws and claws out, where thieves prowl, and where the goddess Bastet herself walks the streets. Is that how that goddess is always? Bastet? I don't know. Maybe. This city gazetteer and adventure collection is a perfect introduction to the Southlands campaign setting. It also fits neatly into any desert setting where cats are sacred and rats are cautious and sly. City of Cats is fully compatible with the 5th edition of the world's first role-playing game and includes 3 wild adventures for levels 1 to 5, loaded with memorable NPCs. Dozens of full... we don't need to read that. We're going to see what's in there. Christopher Rush is like, City of Cats! Coco B says, so Pet wrote City of Cats. I don't know if that's how you pronounce the name, but I believe that is it. Actually, Richard Pett was our lead designer. Oh, Sean Merwin should have gotten a little credit there as well. Sorry about that. I just snagged the credits from Drive-Thru RPG. I should learn better. Sometimes Drive-Thru RPG's credits aren't exactly perfect, especially their page counts. All right, so a few things I do want to mention before we really dive on in here. Number one, fine folks over at Kobold Press were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the gaming gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. And these days, it's important that you know that. Also, I'll be picture-in-picture up here, as always. So that means I'll be cutting off a little portion of the upper left of the book. We're not going to look at each and every page, but I do want to give you a good feel for what you're going to find in City of Cats. And this does include adventures. So if you are a player and you're hoping your dungeon master is going to run City of Cats, I definitely recommend that you leave now, because there's going to be some minor spoilers, because we're going to be taking a peek through the adventure portion of this book as well. Of course, it's the first time I've cracked this open, so I know just about as much as all of you out there. I'm sure there are people out there watching this who know far more about this than I do. All right, so let's jump in. So we have Per Bastet, the City of Cats, which is in southern Nuria Natal, which we have been talking about, the Southlands, all this week. We took a look at the World Book on Monday, took a peek at the Player's Guide yesterday. So we get, looks like a bit of background about the city. Oh, definitely digging the artwork here. So we've got some of our important leaders and NPCs. Got a map of the city. So it looks like this is where we get into the gazetteer. It's giving us a breakdown of each of the different areas of the city. Roll for Combat mentions that Richard Pett writes crazy stuff. Cool. So we get kind of a zoom in. So that's cool. I like how Kobold Press is doing this. We see this in gazetteers, especially stuff from Kobold Press as well. Like Midgard did kind of like, kind of like, I almost said fly in, but it's an image. It's not video. Christopher Rush says 3 a.m. in the City of Cats. Everyone runs parkour style through the streets and over the rooftops. So it's just going through different districts. I think we'll get some more NPCs. Maybe, well, I would say since we've got adventures, we'll probably see maybe a few new magic items, maybe some new monsters. I know the World Book had quite a bit of that. So we've got hunting grounds, we've got a pyramid. So each of these areas We get a breakdown, and looks like we get an important NPC. We get a box. I don't know if it's just food for each of them, or I think looks like it's just kind of a sidebar with something interesting. So here it talks about the street food that is available in this district. I think we had some adventure hooks as well. There we go. Adventures in the Wharf District. So then we get into the adventures. So the first 65 pages of the book are devoted to the city and the gazetteer. So we've got that. So now we get into the three adventures, cat and mouse. So I'm going to check out, I'm going to share some of the adventure background so that folks have a little bit of an idea. Christopher Rush says also at 3 a.m. in the City of Cats, you don't leave objects on tables unattended. Yeah, that's how my City of Cats upstairs is. Through the glittering heart of the city of Purbestet in Nuria Natal, the river of sand flows in a cascade of dry, undulating waves until between the district of the hyena and the perfume district, it inexplicably pours into a vast crater known as the pit and disappears. Occasionally, long-lost items called sand-touched and often considered lucky find their way to the river's shores. Today, however, an object of much greater significance has washed ashore, the Grimalkin Eye. Dun, dun, dun. Long believed lost or stolen, this magic item allows the wielder to befriend, fascinate, and dominate any cat. Wow, that would certainly come in handy in the City of Cats. That's pretty wild. That's kind of cool. There we go. We saw this artwork. This is off the back cover. As we already saw, we've got in the Southlands, of course, we've got cat folk play a big role. We've got gnolls. We've got kind of like crocodile or alligator style folk. So we saw in the World Book a lot of different races that had not been covered previously in Midgard. Of course, in the player's guide, you have the opportunity to actually play as any of those races. We've got that insect race. They're, supposed to be kind of like evil raiders. And then we had the Trollkin as well. That was another one. So just kind of giving you an idea of the adventure here. So this adventure, it looked like it was for levels 1 and 2. So 3 Little Pigs, that is for levels 3. So take a look at the background here. This adventure occurs during one of Purbestet's lesser-known market festivals, the Day of Pigs, which is far better than the Bay of Pigs, where farmers, landowners, and many hog breeders bring their precious pigs to market to trade. Some farmers will be lucky. Their beautiful pigs will command fabulous prizes as the many souks that spring up this day. Oh, I'm sorry, at the many souks that spring up this day. Fortunes are made for hogs of prowess, breeding, and occasionally intelligence. The festival ends at dusk when a mass slaughter and a hog roast takes place in the Wharf District's Grand Souk, an event known as the Night of Pigs. The residents of Purbestet go out of their way to dress in colorful pig masks, wearing cunning pig costumes. I've got a cunning pig costume, me lord. And garb, and oink their way through the day. Sounds interesting. We talked about this before. Kobold Press does a really nice job. They really do. In my personal opinion, and I reviewed Scarlet Citadel and I thought, it was all right. I didn't hate it. But I loved Midgard. I loved Empire of the Ghouls. But one thing, even with Scarlet Citadel, even though the adventure wasn't exactly my cup of tea, and it was more mechanical than anything else, you still got a lot of value in that adventure. There was a lot of adventure packed into that hardcover book. So always get great artwork for the most part, and you get your money's worth. At least I feel you do with Kobold Press releases, and Wolfgang Bauer is super nice. Remember, I was just talking about how great the great majority of role-playing game publishers are. Wolfgang Bauer's prime example of that. So we've got Grimalkin. This is for 4 or 5 characters of 4th to 5th level. So you could kind of string these adventures together. You know what you could also probably do is you could go grab that old D&D module. I think it was Expert, if I remember right. Maybe it was Basic. Lost City. Bet you could kit bash that and sneak that into the Southland setting pretty easily. A while ago, a peculiar object slithered out of the river of sand and caused a minor stir in the perfume district of Per Bastet before vanishing, as stories tend to do in the Spice City. The object, which picked up the name Grimalkin somewhere along the way, granted its owner power over cats. Where did we run across that already? What was missed at the time by everyone involved in the caper was that if there was an eye, might there not also be a body? Sweet. Yes. There's a knoll for you. I like how knolls have been presented in later editions of D&D. Early on, they're just kind of, I kind of like that they've adopted kind of that hyena personality as well. The dogs of Purbistet. What? How dare they? Okay, so then we get into an appendix here with monsters and NPCs. Sweet. I think they're just mixed together. So here we have a cat slide monitor, City Watch captain, depth sentry, and then we have like Jesperette, the perfume maker. So yeah, it looks like the NPCs are mixed in with this. Looks like we got a good number of illustrations with this as well. It's the were crocodile. Then we got our magic items. So this is the Grimalkin eye right here. And it looks like a cat's eye. I like that. If there's an eye, could there possibly be a body? This looks like this is fun. This really does. All right, and then we're going to wrap up. We got some advertising here. And then we've got our open game license. And then we've got a map of Per Bastet. I'll give you a peek at that. Hopefully the camera was nice and clear tonight. I'll tell you one thing. The color representation, the reproduction is spot on with this camera. I mean, the colors you're seeing right now are the colors of this book lit up, of course. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this this Panasonic that I picked up. So, well, I needed a new one anyway. So now I got two Panasonics. So I got this Panasonic you're looking through now. And of course, we've got the Panasonic that I'm looking at right now. So, all righty then. So that was a look at City of Cats for 5e from Kobold Press. Once again, the 154-page hardcover is available right now. You can grab it for $39.99, or you can snag just the PDF alone by going over to Drive-Thru RPG, and you can find it there for $19.99. Obviously enough, I will have a review of City of Cats in the very near future. So I should mention, if you were not watching last night, I had actually talked about how tomorrow I am having a colonoscopy. And of course, I've been having to drink that nasty laxative all day long. And of course, today I can only eat like liquids. So it's like, oh, I could have Jello. Ooh, I could have broth. Ooh, I could have juice. As long as it doesn't have dyes in it. Oh, I can have soda. Which, yes, they actually said they like diet cola and stuff like that. That was fine. But not to gross anybody out, I'm very surprised I got through the entire show. I was sitting there, I get ready to do the stream, and I'm like, oh, please, don't be like, 15 minutes in, and I'm like, okay, enjoy this, like, screenshot of something, and I'll be back. No, thankfully not. But I have to drink it's over a gallon. Thankfully, I am more than halfway through it. It's like, oh my gosh, really? Seriously? So yes, that'll be tomorrow morning. That'll be super exciting. Never had one before. So I've heard two different things. I've heard that on the one hand, they put you out. And then I've heard on the other hand, you're kind of in a twilight. You're not actually completely out, which is okay. So, because when I had my angioplasty, it was that way. You were kind of like, they would tell you to like move or do whatever. And yeah. And then it was funny. It was like, oh man, that was like 10 minutes. And it's like, no, that was an hour and a half. It was like, it was. Okay. So 245 Trioxin says, #adult life. Yes. Well, my doctor has been harping on it, me having one done for a long time. So I'm like, fine, I will do it. All right. So what's cooking next week on the Gaming Gang Dispatch? Well, we've got plenty cooking, ladies and gents, because on Monday's show, we are going to take a look at Dune, Adventures in the Imperium, Agents of Dune. So this is a box set. This is a boxed campaign. It's the first part of a campaign. And one thing I thought was interesting is that you don't necessarily need the core rules. There are enough rules in here for you to run this, but there's also a sticker on the front that says this also includes a code for the PDF for the core rulebook. I thought, hey, that's kind of cool. Although, of course, I've got the core rulebook. But yes, very, very interesting because you can create your own house. And then, of course, you have these important NPCs that are part of your house. And, of course, probably trying to bring your house down, too. But I thought that was very, very interesting. So it's basically the plot of Dune, but it's not House Atreides. It's your house. Or I guess you can probably, I guess, do House Atreides if you want. So that is on Monday's show. On Tuesday's show, we will be taking a look at the Pathfinder Lost Omens travel guide. It is called it is a travel guide. Need to double check real quick. This just showed up. So this is coming out in stores at the end of the month. I believe the street date is August 31st. So we're going to take a peek at this. This will be on Tuesday's show. And then on Wednesday's show, John Vogel, get excited. Start whipping it up. We're going to take a look at Musket and Pike. This is a dual pack. This is 2 previously released Musket and Pike Age war games from GMT Games. So we're going to dive on into this. This is heavy. So I know the boards are going to be mounted. So it includes this Accursed Civil War, which I have heard of, and Sweden Fights On, which I'm not familiar with. But of course, both of those are out of print. That's why they're being released in this dual pack. So Kevin R. Smith says, obviously in Dune, Agents of Dune, one NPC has to be a traitor. I don't know. We might have more than one. So yes, you're going to have to keep in mind, it is an adventure. So I will do my little disclaimer before we crack open the box. Also did want to mention, in case Roll for Combat is still floating around, the question was, did I have the Battle Zoo Ancestries Dragon book? I do. So we are going to probably be taking a little look at this week after next. But that's what I've got on the horizon. Don't miss Agents of Dune on Monday. Roll for Combat says, I'm here. All right, that's it for tonight's show. So if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central, right here on YouTube. It'll also let you know when I upload standalone videos, such as my upcoming review for the Castles and Crusades Player's Handbook. Yes, keep an eye out for that this weekend. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit gaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you won't find here on the YouTube channel. So everybody enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great weekend. And of course, if you're watching live, thank you very much. If you took part in chat, big tip of the cap and extra experience points for you as well. Although I know everybody doesn't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you so kindly for taking time out of your busy life to watch any of the videos here on the Gaming Gang channel. All right, everybody take care. And as always, here's hoping each and every one of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.
Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. check out the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, or find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks for watching.